if you know anybody that is going through some challenging times or having some funky things happen in their life that might benefit from this video, please do share either now or later when you're watching the replay. The current state of the energy, how it is impacting you, what you can do about it to come through in a more empowered space. It's really hard for some people right now, and it's hard because there is, it's like going on a vacation and then bringing your all of your old clothes with you or something. It's like where we're going, you can't be bringing your old crap with you anymore. Your inner limitations, your subconscious belief systems, your so what the spirit just said was like playing pretend. You can't play pretend anymore. Those that are on this path, those of you that are even listening to this video and this work, are on a trajectory of aligning with your authentic self. And a part of that process is the less than authentic self, old self, the limited self, the ego parts, the patterns, and even the energies that we've taken on from our ancestry and society. It's all crumbling, and you could see this so this is happening on a personal level, and it's also happening on the macro level, right? You see what's happening with all of the all of the Me Too movement and the sexual assaults coming out and being exposed, and people really in the same way, their genuine self being shown, and not such a pleasant way. And so as we're moving through this energy, some of this stuff is coming up, and it's really so much about stepping in past the comfort zones that you've been in and going into a space that you've not been before. You've read about it, law of attraction, and Eckhart Tolle's work about the power of now, and we're really being brought into alignment in that space, and it's unknown for a lot of us. And it's like going to going to a foreign country and not knowing the language. It's just like, okay, you're slowly making your way through and around. Okay, so I'm going to share with you today. There's three things that I'm going to be talking about that you can see, three ways that this energy is showing up and what it's bringing forth. Some of you, there's more, but some of you are seeing all of these things, and some of you are just going through pieces of these things. Let me share a story. So the first part is, I woke up the other morning and I was laying in bed, and I was just really feeling feeling pleasure laying in bed, that I get to wake up in my own timing, and I was in my warm bed, and my schedule is my schedule, and just gratitude for the space that I've gotten myself into. And then as I laid there, suddenly, boop, what pops to the surface is guilt just for being in that space. And then I just started to watch my mind put people in front of me that are not in a space of this more free schedule like I have. So the first thing is that, the first point that I want to share out is what's happening right now is that things that are under the subconscious, the beliefs, the patterns, the limiting things that hold us back are becoming we're becoming more aware of it. They're coming to the surface if you're aware. So what I did is I laid there, I was like, okay, that's interesting. Part of me is feeling guilty because what I'm doing on my own personal level is I am taking it to the next step. So as I'm moving forward, this stuff is going to come to the surface. And so I laid there and I watched the story. So the story is a manifestation of the energy inside of me. The story is the manifestation of the vibration that I carry, like a program in a computer. So there was a program in my mind that kicked in. I was getting to that, ooh, oh, lovey, 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 oh, life is so good place. And then this program kicked in. It was like, nope, don't go there. You can't be too happy, too much pleasure. Look at all the things bad in the world. And it was like, wow. So I stayed present with it, watched the stories, and kind of did the program, but in a sense of like being present with it inside of my body, see where it's implanted, or however you want to say it, and did some energy work to help release it. So that's one part that's happening, is that the subconscious belief systems and the fears. So and another way to say this is that if you feel like you're trying to move forward and you're feeling like, you're wanting to find more success, you're wanting to develop the relationship, you want to get more fit and healthy, you want to make more money, it could quite possibly be some subconscious belief systems in your way. So if you ever feel like you get to a certain point and then you like stop, I mean, anybody here that you feel like you get to a certain point and then you sabotage, drama comes in, chaos comes in, and it can happen from different people. Actually, before I jumped on this live stream, I checked my email quick and this thing came up that was diverting me. It was like a life concern where I was like, okay, I mean, everybody is okay, but at the same time, it could have easily, if I haven't been aware, I could have easily just gone down that path, not done this live stream, not shared what whoever's going to end up seeing this needs to hear. So cycles, patterns, drama. So if you're going forward, there's a good chance that there's something on the subconscious level that is programmed to say, stop, don't do it. What's coming to mind is this. I was to the gym again. I've always kind of just worked out, but more outside. And I've gone to this gym, and I was there the other day, and I was so resisting it. I didn't want to do it. I got myself there. But before I got there, I was hearing stories of, you've got too much to do, you don't have time for this, you're tired, you're sore. And I was like, all right, where are the stories, right? And so the big piece is about awareness. So, and it's not about like trying to push it away. It's like being present with what's coming up. So I got to the gym, and as I just was present with what was there, there was this inner part of me that I've been, working with a good majority of my life, that doesn't feel safe being thinner and more fit. I mean, I've gotten to a place where I've kept off 100 pounds for a good period of time, but she's still there on the inside. The difference is that I don't let her drive my bus anymore. I don't let her make the decisions anymore. I listen to her, I give her what she needs. And then what I do is I keep focused on what the end goal is. Like because when I leave the gym, I feel great. I feel stronger. I mean, there's so many other benefits. So while this stuff is coming up for you and possibly stopping you from finding that love, getting more fit, making more money, try to keep your mind on what the end goal is. The thing is that you do want to get to the energy and the program or anything that's going on inside that keeps popping up. All right, that's the first one. So the subconscious belief systems and fears are popping up right now. And my guidance and advice around that is to be present with what's coming up and keep your mind on what the end goal is, what the end result is, what it is that you are desiring to achieve, desiring to feel. So the second piece that's happening that inside of this energy, and the key is, and this is why I'm sharing all of this, is that awareness. Awareness can totally support the shift and almost kind of jumping to that next level of consciousness, that parallel reality where you've been being led to. We're there. We're here now. The second piece that's happening is that what we could call is as defaulting into a program. Defaulting into a way of being. And I see that it's like after the holiday, a lot of people spent some time with family. And what happens sometimes is that when we're around certain groups of people, not even just family, but even certain groups of people, I know like way back in the day before I got onto my path, you know, I was around groups of people where there was a lot of partying going on and stuff like that. And as I started to get healthier and wanting to shift the direction and trajectory of my life, it did mean that I was going to be losing a good group of people that I would be hanging around with, a big community. And that is a big piece of what keeps us from moving forward, from stepping into the truth of who we are, to being the expression of our authentic self, to surrendering to the energy of consciousness that wants to move through us. Because this is what we're here for. We are these humans on a spiritual journey, but we are the channels of the energy that is meant to come through us. And when we're feeling uncomfortable, and we're feeling like all just like, you know, bipolar and angry and like frustrated, that is part of us that is resisting what really wants to come through us. And sometimes it's one of those pieces that we're afraid we're going to lose people around us. So what happens is when we get into so back to my point, is when we get into certain crowds of people or certain communities, certain even family, we can almost unconsciously drop into a way of being, a way of behavior. We can also, you know, it's almost like this subconscious role that we end up playing. It's like this unspoken expectation of others of how we need to behave. And so with some of us being around, you know, some people over the holiday, some of us are starting to realize, wow, I dropped into that and I feel like crap right now and I feel shitty and I don't know why. It may be is that you slipped into and started to be in this pattern of streamline of consciousness that others had this expectation of you. So tell me, is this making some sense? Hey, Steph, glad you're here. Hey, Leonard. So we end up playing roles. We end up dropping into this subliminal, subconscious pattern and playing things out. And behind that is because we want to be accepted. We want to be a part of something. You know, we want to belong. And there are inner parts as we're starting to move past and be more of our authentic self, those other parts start to freak out. They want to belong. They want to be a part of something. They want to be loved. And so that's what some of that inner battle is happening right now. So take a look at like, okay, what's happening right now? Like, how am I acting out or being in some behavior and the other, some of us that are in this level of awareness and awakening is that we are actually even playing out roles from our ancestry. So dropping in and almost as if it's like you've taken on the role of, say, your mother, your grandmother, your grandfather, your father, or even beyond, and you're kind of like playing out this behavior, this pattern, this thing in a way of clearing it, in a way of clearing it for your ancestry and for yourself and for the entire collective. So that's part two. The third thing that I want to talk about today is that we are being led to really step up, own who we are, let go of all of the masks, the safety protective mechanisms, the playing small, you know, really just our most authentic self. And what's happening is, so we're playing these roles with other people that as we're stepping in, it's also triggering other people. So as we're stepping in and owning who we are and realizing, oh, wait a minute, I've been playing this game wrong. I've been in this relationship. I've been playing too small. I've been not honoring myself. You know, as these realizations start to happen, we start tuning in and making interchanges. But what that's also doing is that it's impacting other people in the sense of it's in the way that you're acting out and the way that you're stepping in and owning who you are, it's triggering other people. And that's another way that we hold ourselves back because we're afraid we're going to trigger other people. But I want to share with you is that understand that because this person or people are in your life, it's an agreement that you've already had beyond this point in time. And so by you standing up, owning your power, grounding in, knowing what's, right for you, yeah, you're going to trigger other people, and it's triggering them to own their power. It's triggering them to go to that next space for themselves, to be in their most authentic self, to learn and honor their own needs. So let me just tune in. What else is there? So it can be like super freaking uncomfortable. I did a video a couple of weeks ago about, sometimes you're the asshole. You playing small, you hiding who you really are, squishing and trying to maneuver around isn't serving anyone. This is your life. And understand that it's actually a gift to those around you and those that you impact for you to honor showing up. And the ripple effect that it's going to happen is supporting other people to be honoring themselves as well. What I'm seeing is when I'm working with clients is that the way that we're working with this energy, I can see that it does trace back to past life. And whether you believe in past life or not, you can think of it as when I receive the information and I get the picture and I could see what's being played out. It's Spirit's message to help you understand how what is happening now, comes through in this picture of the past life. So past life stuff is happening. I'm seeing people play out their, them go through their own, an experience that is actually traced back to family and their ancestry beyond. And then when I'm supporting people in identifying these beliefs that they've subconsciously taken on and just kind of play out, when that's cleared, on an intellectual level, on an energetic level, it opens up this space for more of who you really are to be coming through. So what that does is that, now we don't have those inner limitations. We don't have those fears. We don't have that glass ceiling. We have the ambition to build the business, do our hobby, put ourselves out in the world more, go on a dating site, get to the gym, make more money, deepen our other, all of our relationships. So embrace the messy parts. Because what I see happening is that the messy part comes up. So the part of us that is feeling, squished and angry and overwhelmed and just, crappy, when that comes up, we tend to like push it away or ignore it or think there's something wrong with this. But when our most awesome self comes up and we're inspired and we're creative and we're fun and we're playful and, we're doing our thing, we're like, yeah, that's awesome. And you want more of that. Of course, who doesn't? But we need to embrace the messy parts just as much as we embrace these awesome parts of ourselves, because as we're pushing them down, as we're making wrong that we're feeling these less than pleasant ways, we actually just stuff it down. It's like taking, taking a screaming kid and like putting it in the closet. I don't know why that metaphor came up. So it's going to come back. The kid is still going to be there. Right? And so when these messy parts come up, when we're with them, when we embrace them, when we don't make them wrong, when we be present with what the message is, the energy can also dissolve. So embrace the messy parts, stand in your truth, and, speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. Normally at the end of the year, we're kind of like winding down and, spending time with family. But what I see happening with this energy that we're in, it's actually kind of a ramp up. It's not really going to be about a time of slowing down. It's actually about like all of this stuff is coming up and we're going to get the opportunity to do something with it. So we're going to be present with our mess. We're going to, dissolve, the belief systems. And we're really going to keep our focus on where it is we want to go. What is on the other side? What is our goal? What is our, the outcome that we want? How do we want to feel? And just keep moving through in that direction. We just don't want to, let's just not make our messy parts wrong. Like if you get anything out of this video, that is the most empowering thing that you can do, is embrace what's ever here, because we tend to feel like there's something wrong with us if we don't feel fucking amazing. And you're not wrong. You're just clearing out energy. You're just clearing out the programs. I mean, we came into this world, pure, and then we had all this stuff put on us from our ancestry, from society, these masks that we wear of like, I've got to be the perfect coach, healer, mentor. I've got to be the perfect wife. In this little box is what the husband is supposed to do, or the child, or whatever the fuck. And that's all got to go. And we're co-creating these experiences. That's the other piece I want. The other piece is that if you take full responsibility of what's happening in your life, you're going to shift this much more quickly. Why not start now? Why not really take this opportunity? Do you still want to be in the same place? This work that I do is about empowerment and teaching you how to go inside of you. And the base of my work is radical self-love, because if you don't have love for yourself, it's going to affect everything. And that's when we have these underlying belief systems and fears and limitations, it affects every area of our life. So take a look. Like, what is my money like? What are my relationships like? What is my health like? And so my intention in all of the work that I do is guiding you to your most empowered space and how to deepen that relationship with yourself and understand what's going on so that you can be a freaking badass. This whole movement about positivity and law of attraction and creating your amazing life, and that's a lot of what I work and believe in. But we can't dismiss that it does get a little bit messy before it goes to the other side. And dismiss, I mean by make it wrong or not address it or throw the kid in the closet. My journey of unleashing myself, unwinding, unplugging, even on a cellular and DNA level. It's been this interesting experience of, so when I was at the beginning of this broadcast, I was talking about how I woke up the other day feeling all this pleasure, and the guilt came up, and then all the stories, but then I also saw where those came from. And it's like, once I saw where it came from, it supported the release on all the different levels, emotional, energetic, cellular. Because as we're growing up, we just subliminally just start to, take on other people's shit. And those of us that are on this path right now are ready to let it go. And what I understand and know is that letting go, there's stuff that's underneath that. There's commitments, there's fears, there's fear about abandonment, the guilt, the shame. Like, there's even stuff that I see when I'm working with clients is that there's guilt about being more happy. There's guilt about being more wealthy or thinner or fit or more, or even shame around having needs or wants or desires that are greater than anything that they've been surrounded with. It's beyond, it's like, you work with a coach, or you do a program, or you read the book, and that's all good and very, very important. Obviously, I read and I'm a coach, but not addressing the underlying stuff and the energy that holds the program in place, you're not going to get to where you want to go. This is my gig. Like, this this comes so easy and naturally to me to be able to read energy and see patterns. And I work with people all over the world through the computer and on the phone. I see what's going on. I get a visual. I can feel in my body where the energy is being held. The information comes through to me as I'll get images, or I'll hear words, or I'll see things, I'll feel things of what the core of the pattern or the program or the cycle is. And once we get to the core of it, like a root of a weed, right? We pluck it out, then that weed doesn't come back anymore. And then you're free to be your badass self and live free and not worry about other people, and actually be the example of what living an empowered life feels like, so that others can live empowered and free and happy. And if people get off, or their insecurities are triggered because you're being amazing, well, then that's the fucking role that you needed to play for them, so that they can either what am I saying? Shit or get off the pot is what's coming through. It's not your responsibility, whatever gets triggered for them. Obviously, we want to be kind and loving and compassionate to other people, but don't hold yourself back because you're worried about what other is going on. Who you are is exactly who you need to be for these other people in their life. And everybody is getting this opportunity to live their most authentic lives and be their most crazy, awesome self. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, after I got through the inner stuff that was going on for me, I was able to keep off 100 pounds, because my whole journey, I would gain 30, lose 40, gain 25, lose 20. And I finally got off of that when I dealt with the fact that I was using weight as a protection because I didn't feel safe. It didn't feel safe for me to be thinner or more attractive. And so that's the same thing that I see happening in different levels for different people. Some people don't feel safe being amazing or being their authentic self or speaking their truth because they're afraid of what other people are going to feel. And so some of the stories will come through is like, I'm too busy, or I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, that thing really won't work. But that's that little voice inside that is afraid of going over the edge. I just watched a movie the other day. It's called Jim and Andy. Thank you, Alicia, for posting that. Fucking amazing movie. Watch it, because he is what he talks about in this movie, Jim and Andy, it's on Netflix. He talks about totally getting out of the way and allowing the consciousness of Andy to come through him in order for him to make the movie. Goosebumps now, man. Carrie I'm doing him right now. And so we need to get out of our own way. And it's those things that are it's those underlying fears. It's the quote, sorry. Woo. The quote was, he said it right at the beginning of the movie, is, I didn't know I could do it until I did it. Boom. Right? I didn't know I could do it until I did it. The other piece here too is there's an internal comfort meter. And once we start to feel, that's when this program of smallness comes in and says, don't do it. You'll be annihilated. You won't be liked. People think you're crazy. You'll be abandoned. It's not safe. And what I'm sharing with you is that program, those beliefs, it's time for those to go. And on the other side of that are all of the things that your heart desires. And the fact that your heart desires it is that it's totally possible. So yes, there's practical things you could do, but there's the inner work that is so important. The inner work is where it all begins, because our experience outside is a manifestation of what we've tuned into internally. How we take on things cellularly and on a DNA level, even from the people that we grew up with. So not only the things that they said about us, but the thing, you ready for this? This just came down. Is the things that they felt about themselves that they put on us, that they projected on us. So their limitations, their fears, belief systems, when we take on these consciousness, when we tap into the radio station of our parents or society, or even our grandparents or beyond, the ancestral pattern, And that's where a lot of self-sabotage comes from. So this aspect stands guard, and every time you get close to going beyond the comfort zone, it kicks in. Just like your automatic programs on your computer, the virus cleansing or whatever it is. It's like all of a sudden it kicks in. It says, nope, you're getting too close to make a mistake. So I'm going to throw in some drama here. I'm going to create some chaos. I'm going to bring someone in. I'm going to divert your mind. Now you got to go do laundry instead of that live stream or write that blog or whatever it is. It's like when we get to the core of the energy, just like the root of the weed, boom, things open up. Whoops, I almost knocked over my thing. Is that you have a role here to play, and you don't know who it's going to affect or how it's going to affect, but this is your life, and this is like your opportunity to be your fullest self. And you're limiting yourself does no service to you or anybody in your life. So we can remember that we're just going to always grow from whatever our experience is, from whatever mistakes we make. In these cases, getting not only, the intellectual, it's like, okay, now I know I picked that up, but then what? It's like getting to the energy, getting to that inner program where it's running inside of you. We don't know that we can do it until we do it. And this is what's coming through too now, is that we've attached vulnerability. We've attached, sharing more of ourselves, being creative, sharing our voice, sharing our opinions with vulnerability, and that it's dangerous, and that, we could be annihilated or we won't be liked anymore. It's when we get into like the things that are like more like who we are, right? Our art, our opinions, our beliefs. And that's what the world and the energy is calling forth right now. And if you don't do it, if you don't follow what's coming through, you're going to just feel like shit. So stop feeling like shit. Like, let's clear up this energy. Like, let's get real. Like, it's time. It's time. If you found this helpful, please do share with anybody that might be, inspired by this information and have the awareness. Because like I said earlier, once you have the awareness, that gives us the opportunity to create change. Your barometer, that you're limiting yourself, that you're believing something that's not actually true, that you're playing out a pattern that's not yours, is how you feel. Now, remember what I said earlier, is that not making how you feel wrong, allowing it to just be information, allowing it to be information. Don't, because every time you push it away or make it wrong, like it's still there. It's all about self-love. And I remember being in New York with a friend, I don't know how many years, I'm going to say like 7 years. I don't know. Actually, she was one of my first coaches, and she was in Canada. She lives in Canada, and we met in New York, and we hung out for a weekend, and she was doing this workshop and I was helping her, and I was just being me. And she was just like, Kellyanne, like, you need to let the world see more of who you are. Like, so it takes a journey, and probably has to take these whole 7 years for me to understand or embrace more of who I am, to be able to hold space and inspire and excite you to be able to live your authentic self. I literally feel like I'm going to like float out of this couch right now, because I'm so fired up about supporting people and being their most authentic selves, and letting go of the fucking stories that are limiting, and releasing the energy that's like not yours. And I read your energy. So you tell me like, oh, I feel like I'm wanting to move forward in love. I'm wanting to move forward in money, or I'm wanting to move forward in everything, and I don't know what the fuck is in my way. What I do is I read your energy, and I see where the core is, and I see where the deep belief pattern or the belief system is. And then we clear the energy around it. Because the other part that I do, the other gift that I have, is I can see who the authentic you is. And then the healing and the clearing and the support comes through from your spirit team, from my spirit team, of how to align you there. So it's multifaceted. So energy reading, energy clearing, intuitive guidance, channeled information, supporting you through these 20. Swear to God, I thought I was going to float off the couch a second ago. Yeah, because this is a really exciting time. As shitty as it can feel sometimes, you know, I am encouraging everyone to embrace it, because beyond the other side is what you do want to be feeling, what you do want to be expressing, how you do want to live your life. And it's time to give back this crap that we've taken on from others. Handing back the belief systems, handing back the limitations. You know, I've said this like through all of my work, is that like we are more powerful than we've been taught. I mean, there's science, you Google it, about the power of our brain and the different dimensions that we can tap into from our own brain. But we're not so easy to we're easier to control when we're in fear and when we're limited and when we're told that we're not, we're not smart enough, thin enough, pretty enough, have enough money. But as you can see on the outer world, that's all breaking down now. And it's breaking down internally. And anybody who's ready for this, I want to support you. To see someone be liberated from the limitation and claim the magic that they are within, and their power and their energy, and tapping into that level of that openness of consciousness and going to a space of surrender to allow that greater channel of energy to move through. It's like, it's phenomenal. What else do you want to know? Just want to like wrap up and, say like the 3 things that, and there's more that are coming through, but I see the 3 higher level things is that the subconscious belief systems and fears are coming to the surface. The patterns and karmas and the subliminal way that we just like pop in and are starting to play out this role. So either this role of expectations of other, or this role of energy that is ready to be cleared up, that's been passed down from generations. And then the third thing is that, we are being led to be our most authentic self, and in you being yourself, it is going to do a ripple effect for those around. So what's underneath all of this are the fears of like what's going to happen, and you being you is the best thing that can happen in this experience, is because it is going to have a ripple effect on everybody. And I know that it can feel scary, and you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to feel scared. I've got you. Let's do this. Let's do this. That, the world is becoming more and more aware that energy first, mindset first, inner work first, because everything else is an expression of it after. Even our beliefs are what create our reality. And what's going on inside is this whole big tangled up mess that's time for it to be uprooted and released, and let that child out of the closet. All right. I love you guys for showing up and for watching the replay and for sharing.